What's going on, guys? I hope you are doing well this afternoon. My goodness, we had some significant earth-shattering news regarding the crypto markets. So, one of the titans of the industry, FTX, is actually low-key insolvent. and essentially, what happened, a good chunk of it, I'll just kind of surmise things in regards to FTX. Apparently, there was a leak a couple of days ago regarding their financials, and apparently they were only holding like select cryptos like Solana. But the key issue was that pretty much a good chunk of their savings was their own token, which is the FTT token. That's pretty alarming because that's essentially what Celsius got in trouble with. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Celsius debacle, but essentially they were kind of finagling the numbers to make themselves look more solvent than they actually were. It triggered a couple of things. So one of the main investors initially for FTX was CZ, which is the founder of Binance. And essentially, he was basically saying that he was going to drop a good chunk of his token for pretty much everything. He was going to slowly kind of like there is a whole thread on Twitter. I highly recommend you look up CZ from Binance on Twitter and just read that thread. I think he pinned it recently. So essentially, yeah, he was planning on dropping the token altogether, which they've kind of began rolling that out. Now that freaked out the entire market. It kind of led to this whole bearishness, high volatility areas. So in these macro instances, it triggered a break of potential support, which is right around here. Now we are back below this key level once again. I was kind of hoping for, and I mentioned this in the last video, I did notice this bear flag right around here and this measured move uh, right here. Uh, yeah, I thought there would be a potential bounce around this zone, which there was. But we had a pretty definitive rejection off of this Fibonacci line right here at the 0.786. At that point on, it initiated this flash dump. Basically, for the past 3 hours, we've had crazy dumpage happen. 16% in 3 hours. Crazy stuff. Overall, we did break this line here of support, this supply line. We are completely just destroying this. I was really hoping that we would sustain this because that would actually truly incur a ratcheting up and a pretty obvious trend to the upside from a macro perspective. Unfortunately, we've lost that. The next line that I would expect to bounce, frankly, we are currently at the lowest low of the 0.236. This is the last area. This would be an 80% retrace, an 88% retrace from the wick low to the high. So that's pretty logical in regards to where we are at. But I mean, we do have this base level of support at 1,241 for Ethereum. But nonetheless, unfortunately, given how intense this move was, we've triggered a lower high situation. We had a high, lower high, and now we have a lower high. So that is putting a lot of stress on this market right now. If 1,240 cannot hold, I'm expecting all the way down to 879, which was my original thesis. I literally thought this would happen not for a couple another months, maybe. I was kind of hoping we'd kind of develop this rising channel here. It was really looking like we'd have a rising channel at some point, a macro rising channel, and then we'd come up to the 0.618 to then dump right all the way back down, ultimately hit 1,240. But with the macro markets and news essentially nullifying these support lines, really testing them and really nullifying them, I do ultimately expect a retest of 1,240. That's just my assumption. But eventually, I honestly, I do think if we cannot create a base right here at 1,240. We're going down to 879. It's really unfortunate. I was looking forward to, celebrating with you all in regards to, sticking the landing, so to speak. Actually solidifying 1,400 as support, but that is not in the cards as of late. The crypto gods had other things. Oh crap! I have a meeting. Uh-oh. I'll worry about that later. I'll give him a call back. But anyway, yeah. Overall, this is pretty drastic. This is pretty drastic on what's going on. I mean, we're just flash dumping. It is wild, wild, wild. And if you look at the TSI, like it was just like this. Look at that versus like what's happened. You know what I mean? It's crazy what's going on. Volatility is so high right now. Vol is yeah, increasing exponentially. Now, if you go to market cipher indicator, we are kind of potentially creating a bottoming event. We just recently tagged 1,441. As you can see, there is some buyers stepping up in that regard. Overall, I do not think this is over. I do feel like we did create a high, we got a lower high, and then another lower high. So, unfortunately, I do feel like if this were to be a bounce zone, we would come back up pretty much around the 618 area at 1,478 at maximum. We'd probably even get rejected at 1,400 flat, and we're probably going to create a lower low instance. Yeah, let me see the hourly here. This is actually pretty fresh for me. This is pretty new. I was hoping it wouldn't be today. I have a lot of stuff I got to do today, but it was a pretty intense couple hours I just saw, so I had to jump in and say something. But yes, this is a significant hourly support line. So at this time, if price cannot sustain itself right here, we are going down even more. It makes that much more sense to oh my goodness, we are flash crashing. That is insane. Yeah, look, yeah, buyers are stepping up at this zone right here. But given how intense this is, yeah, I mean, this is a capitulation. This is liquidity grabbing right now. I would not sell anything right now. I would not do anything. This is more so something to watch. This is a liquidation event for sure, one of the larger ones that we've seen in a couple of months, I would say. Let me see, 24%. Jeepers. Let me go back all the way up to the wick high. Yeah, it was basically in 3 hours, a 24% dump. My goodness. That's insane. That is insane. We did have kind of like a little bit of a dead cat bounce right here, a last ditch effort. Ultimately, when you zoom in, there was just rejection off of the VWAP, which is the volume weighted average price. Also, from just a support resistance zone, we did ultimately have the 0.786, like I had said prior. It was just yeah, inevitable. Wow. Crazy stuff. But yeah, if this box right here can't hold, I would be surprised, frankly. But also, I would definitely expect prices to eventually come back down here, and it would make so much sense for price to kind of like bounce around this area, maybe even lower. But ultimately, it looks like the wicks are beginning. This is crazy. Look at this wick. Wow. Okay. A 7% wick. This is ridiculous. I love it. This is why I like crypto, man. It just fortunes can be made and lost so quickly. I remember I was like trading one day and I was looking at like um, there's an exchange that tracks like the biggest winners and losers of the day, and I was looking at it. I was like, wow, like one dude, and I think it was like a Japanese name because you can name your accounts and stuff like that. He lost like 17 million in one move. It's just crazy how much money is flowing into in and out of this market constantly. That was one day of losses. I'm like, wow, can you imagine losing 17 million in one day? But anyway, and yeah, that it just blows my mind. Um, but yeah, so far, looks like the Bulls are trying to hold this line here. I would ultimately expect like a bounce at some point and maybe even a retest to maybe attempt a double bottom here at the very least. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to share this with y'all. This was pretty intense. At the end of the day, I just want to say, thank you for taking the time to watch this. If you haven't liked this video yet, please do so. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, going from the 1 hour time frame on the TSI, we are definitely in the oversold mark. Really looking for a divergence still. Like I said, oh goodness, I know. Okay, all right. Looking at it, I am still looking for that divergence to park to throw in an entry at this time. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, given that prices are significantly cheaper at this time. But yes, as long as price is below 1,412, we are going to continue seeing dumpage to the downside. Um, we could potentially get that um, higher low instance via the MACD area, so I'm keeping my eye on that. I am, as you can see on the RSI here, it is starting to look a little bit um, more fruitful from that perspective of maybe considering a spot entry. So that's kind of what I'm keeping my eyes on at this time. Now I'm gonna go to the 24-minute, go to the 15-minute. Nope. Even the 5 minute, 5 minutes starting to curl up a little bit more. Now, it doesn't make me feel better in regards to um, putting in an entry. So really, I'm keeping my eye on 1,280 on the 5 minute. 1,280. As long as price is above 1,280, this is a potential go. So this is real interesting. So 1,280, which is right here. So as long as price is above there, we're going to continue seeing price move to the upside. I don't think that's going to happen, personally, but you never know. You never know. But anyway, just want to say thank you so much for your time. Yeah, take care. Have a great one, and bye bye.